Gotcha.
All right, students, today we are making our ham and cheese pizza benders. So as you can see with the recipes in front of you, we are going to go ahead and get started. So I've already preheated my oven. It needs to be on 400 degrees. And then we're going to place our aluminum foil on the cookie sheet. So if you notice, there is a little sharp edge on this where you can tear off that paper, and your aluminum foil is in your kitchen. Okay, so we're just going to lay this across our cookie sheet, and then our directions tell us that we need to spray with non-stick cooking spray. I will supply these to your kitchens tomorrow. Spray 6 to 8 inches away from your pan and just do a light coating. And then we're going to come over and chop our ham. These are called ham steaks. They come in these big, long hams that are about 1/4 of an inch long.
Holy,
So we'll go ahead and chop this up using our correct knife techniques.
Yo, that ham is a baddie.
So I'm just going to cut some little strips. Okay. And just make sure you have complete control of that knife. So I cut all of them into little strips, and then I'll just turn them over this way and cut little dices of ham. So this kind of cut is called a dice, which means that they are little cubes, if you can see. So I don't know how well they can see, but they're just little cubes.
I was gonna say something funny.
And let's stay quiet so that our kids at home can focus on the demonstration.
Okay.
All right. So now that we have all of our ham cut up, let's look at our next instruction, and it is to grate our cheese on wax paper. So I have this collapsible cheese grater that likes to move around. So I prefer to grate my cheese on wax paper as opposed to a plate. Yeah.
My friend Yassine can't eat ham.
I'm not your friend.
So we'll go ahead and grate our cheese on wax paper.
Wait, what about a plate?
So because this collapses really easily, I like to do it on wax paper because it's more secure than doing it on a plate.
Nice. Why don't you just chop the cheese with a knife?
It would take me a long time to get it to these fine grates like this. A cheese grater is much faster.
Why they call it cheese grater? Or she's just gonna estimate on the cheese grater.
What was that?
What if you don't have a cheese grater?
If you don't have a cheese grater, you can cut it with a knife. It'll just take longer. Okay, so then I'm going to set this aside until we need it. And then the next step on our recipe is to roll each of our dough balls into long rectangles. So I have these are Texas rose rolls. They're from the freezer, but they're thawed. So we'll go ahead and use our rolling pin to get these to be nice rectangles. This table was sanitized before class, so I know that I'm okay to use this to just put it straight onto the countertop. Okay? So we'll just work the dough. You can gently pull on it to make it the right size. And we're going to go ahead and do this with 4 others. Or with 3 others so that we have 4 total. Okay?
So wait, how many pieces are you making during the demonstration?
If you have a comment, you can raise your hand. Yeah.
Wait, so are we doing one roll for like every person in our group?
Yes, so it's 1 roll per person.
Yo, basketball, who's winning?
Okay, so we're just again going to work that dough. Make it nice and rectangular.
Yeah, I know I'm beautiful.
Okay, so mine are not perfect, but they are little rectangles. The key with this is you want to make it about 1/4 of an inch thick. So you don't want it to be super thick or else it won't cook all the way through when you put it in the oven.
Why not super thin?
If it's too thin, then it's going to tear. Riker, will you go sit in kitchen 3, please?
Yeah, sure.
You have Marin Gladhart in this class?
I have William Gephardt. Bodie. In my class.
Oh no, I mean Marin Ballard.
Nope. Alright. So we're almost there. We're just going to work that dough. Get our nice long rectangles.
What's that rolling pin sound so horrible?
It's from Walmart.
Tell me it doesn't. It sounds just good.
So now that we have our rectangles, we're going to look at our recipe, and it says place 1/2 tablespoon of spaghetti sauce in the center of each one. So I'm going to divide this into 4ths. I have my 1/2 tablespoon measuring spoon, and I'll just put a 1/2 tablespoon on each one. So then, after that, I'm going to take my flexible spatula and gently spread it around.
Beautiful.
You're talking about me, right, Sam?
No, I was talking about me this time.
Oh.
So Gideon, when you made these, were they this small or did you combine some of the dough?
No, I used all the dough.
So were yours this size?
His was a little bigger. I saw.
Alright.
Which of his? Define his.
Okay, so we'll just gently spread these around. You can also use a spoon to just make sure that sauce is evenly distributed, okay?
Okay.
This one's not spreading as well, but you get the idea. All right, so then we look at our recipe and we need to top them with 2 tablespoons of ham. So if I'm just eyeballing this, I'm going to look at this and say, let's just split this into 4ths. I'm not going to take the time to measure all of this to save us some time. So we'll put some ham on each of these. And again, these counters were sanitized before class, so I know that I'm okay to put them right on the counters. Tomorrow, if you're more comfortable working on plates or on cutting boards, then you're okay to do that.
Okay.
Alright, so then we take our cheese and we'll top that with just a little bit of cheese each as well.
I feel like my phone is average size. It's just me that makes it look small.
Okay. Alright, so then if we're looking at our directions, it says that we're going to pull our sides together and pinch them closed. So, for this part, let's go ahead and pinch these sides together, and then we're going to tuck the ends under and pinch them closed. So we want to make sure that, what was that?
Kind of like a dumpling.
I can't hear what you're saying.
I said kind of like a dumpling.
Yeah, kind of like a dumpling, that's a good word for it. And then we're going to put the pinched ends underneath our rectangles. So pinch it as best you can. I put a little bit too much sauce so it's not sticking as well as I would like, but you'll just wrap it up like that. All right. Yeah.
Are you gonna put it in the blender?
That's the strawberries.
So we're having our ham and cheese pizza benders
Smart, Jesse. Let's put them in the blender.
plus a strawberry smoothie.
One in, you know, it's like 2 in 1.
That would be so good, Jesse. Not like
Oh, so you just didn't assume I wouldn't like it, huh?
Sasha just said a bad word.
Yeah, you said a bad
I
word.
said shut up.
No, I
That's a
don't
bad
think-
word! He's using
Alright,
derogatory language towards my friend, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm very offended.
So we're pinching those ends closed and then putting it on our cookie sheet that's already been
Me
prepared.
and Bram are gonna jump in.
I'm going to bring this one closer so I can work with it a little bit easier.
Oh, cross-contamination, right? What happened to that?
The ham is already cooked, so there's no cross-contamination that's going to happen here.
What about the sanitizer that got on the ham that you put it in
I'm
the
so
jar?
happy that people get to listen to this and the online kids get to remember my name.
Alright.
Get to remember the fun times they had at school because of me.
Yeah, that one just is a ball.
It is not pinching closed like I want it
And
to.
maybe you should use more vegetable oil next time.
Alright. So mine are not perfect. Tomorrow you can make yours look even better. So at this point we're going to go ahead and bake these for 13 to 18 minutes.
Why so exact?
Because that's what's on your recipe.
Oh.
Or what's the temperature? You never told us.
400. You said any.
So calm down, Justin. Okay, calm down.
And luckily you can use your own
Don't say that.
recipe to see how the temperature and the time that we're putting it in the oven for. So
What is your definition of golden brown? brown, because that dough already kind of looks like it's golden brown.
So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start on my smoothie. But first, I'm going to clean up this area because we're working with all of our fruits now, which is different than our more savory things. So it'd be gross if they can be seen. Alright, so let's go ahead and just wipe this off super quick.
White.
What kind of service you have?
Yo, is yours Team Family Mobile like mine?
No. I'm AT&T and it sucks.
Yeah.
So this will do for what I need to do next, and then after class I will sanitize our countertops. So let me put on a couple more gloves. And we're going to put our sugar straight into the blender. So I've measured up 1/2 cup of sugar for my recipe today. These gloves are hard to put on with wet hands, from what I'm discovering. So we'll go ahead and just add our sugar straight into our blender. The next step is to measure and add our vanilla. I already measured it before class, so I'll just go ahead and pour that right in. And the third thing is to cut our banana into large chunks and then add it.
Why
So
not just put the whole banana in there?
I'm not going to take the time to pull out a cutting board and a knife, but you can go ahead and just peel your banana into small sections. The reason why you do it in small sections as opposed to the whole banana is so that it gets more evenly distributed throughout your smoothie.
Yes.
And part of this banana has some bruised parts, so I'm just going to peel those off.
Sasha kind of looks like a banana today.
Wow, I see what it is.
And then only use the parts that are good.
Banana
Yeah.
with brown legs.
Would it be okay if we gave you the I'm sorry, if you were at home or no?
You can use the brown. I have found in my own experience that when you use the really bruised parts, they usually don't break up as easily as the rest of the banana. So as you're drinking your smoothie, you kind of get this big chunk of the brown.
So what if we want to put the peels in it?
I wouldn't recommend doing that.
Is it?
Let's go ahead and add our strawberries. And then I'm going to add
Is
my
it or is it frozen?
Brown stuff with vanilla
No.
that's in the.
Yeah, what's your question?
So you're not gonna tell us how much strawberries you added in?
What
I
if you're
added in-
lactose intolerant?
If you look at your recipe, I added in 6 to 7 frozen strawberries. And luckily we have a lot of strawberries from last spring that are all frozen, so you'll have a lot of strawberries to use tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and blend what we have in here. I added my 1 cup of milk, and I'm just going to push the smoothie button. In. At home, you'll want to put in your ice cubes one at a time, but with these blenders at school, these can take a lot of power, so I'm just going to put all of my ice cubes in at once.
Oh, cross-contamination.
Yeah, your bread was on that counter.
So then we'll go ahead and press the smoothie button again. As we remember with our slushies, with our lime slushie and our tomato salsa, we just press the smoothie button and let it stop when it's ready. We don't have to do anything else. strawberry and banana smoothie. You can see it in our camera up there.
Yeah, I can see.
That was a berry.
If I can guess your email, I'll get the whole smoothie right now.
My personal email or my school email?
Your school email.
Well, duh. Anyway,
I can get your.
let's go ahead and I still have about 8 minutes left on my ham and cheese pizza benders.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave this time to you to do the assignment from yesterday called the Labels and Nutrition Facts assignment. We didn't get to this yesterday, but I want you to work with one other person. You can choose, but ideally someone that's close to you. And you're going to pick a cereal box from my desk up there to fill out this assignment. All right, go ahead.
Absolute mission.
Yeah, see, bring a pencil.
I'm gonna go get some cereal, okay?
You go get